Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows around world football this weekend. I'm here, Chris Hamill is here in a brand new tracksuit. Very fetching, I have to say. And we are starting, as we do every week, with the talking point, which is Liverpool.
Oh my, what a weekend of football. A feast for you in today's Winners and Losers, yes. And we're starting with the question, have Liverpool blown their title bid? Now, a little bit dramatic,
yes,
but given recent form, there might be something in that sentiment. So they drew 0-0 away at Goodison Park last night, their 5th draw in 7 fixtures, confirming Manchester City's status as the Premier League's top dogs once again. On the 30th of December, Liverpool actually led the citizens by 10 points. Now, they're 1 point behind. What
Tottenham.
A role reversal. And one of the biggest criticisms levelled at Liverpool on Sunday against Everton was that their midfield failed to control the game. Gary Neville saying from the commentary position there wasn't a midfielder in there that could dictate the tempo of the game. And I've got to say, I agree, they were stifled, that midfield three, by the industry of Idrissa Gueye, the indefatigable
he was good, wasn't he?
Idrissa Gueye and Schneiderlin, with Lucas Digne actually creating more chances from left back with 4 than the entirety of Liverpool's front 6.
Yeah.
Not great. In fact, no Liverpool midfielder has created more than 15 open play chances this season. I believe Wijnaldum, you know, the box-to-box midfielder for Liverpool, he tops them in that regard. Even the much maligned Jorginho has 20 to his name, just to give you a little bit of perspective when it comes to that stat. So, the commentary team, Neville and Carragher, were saying that Keita, Shaqiri or Lallana probably should have started, which, if you're chasing down a title, hounding down your first title since 1990, and, you know, you've got a decisive derby away from home, I think you do need some creativity in there. You do need someone that can pass in between the lines, and for me, Wijnaldum, Henderson and Fabinho just profiled a little too similarly in that regard. I mean, Liverpool only mustered 10 shots over the course of the 90, their second lowest of the season, with Mane occupying that central position. He did it really well against Southampton, didn't he? But he didn't manage a single shot on target, with XG finishing at 0.3 to 1.1. So, starting lineup, Joe, would you have tinkered with it, or would you have tinkered with it in-game and gone with that starting lineup?
I think that Jurgen probably thought that starting lineup had enough to see off Everton. Everton aren't smashing it this season. Marco Silva has been underperforming, in my opinion, and you know, they should have been able to beat Everton, that starting lineup. I think that is the simple thing. But I also think Jurgen Klopp got his substitutions horribly wrong. I don't see why Adam Lallana is being brought into that game. I don't think he's of the level required for Liverpool to go and win it.
I really don't. Chance creation from midfield, and I guess Lallana is a little bit more probing than who they had on.
I understand that.
But half-fit Bobby Firmino
but don't take Mane off for him. I know that Mane wasn't having a good game, I understand that. Then take one of your midfielders off. He'd just taken Wijnaldum off for Milner, which is a negative substitution in my head. I think if you're going out for the win, put Lallana on and take one of your defensive midfield 2 off. Take either Fabinho or Henderson off. I don't think you need them both on the pitch if you're trying to score the winner there. And to leave players like Shaqiri on the bench, who has been a match winner when you needed him to be this season, I think is a bit of a shock. And what more does Naby Keita have to do to start that game? Or at least be brought on in minutes in that game?
I suppose just be a little bit more consistent when he is given the chance. And I think Henderson, he got a lot of criticism levelled at him on Twitter by Liverpool fans after that game, but he seems to be their fullback guy when the front 3 can't create. And I'm not having it that he was the worst Liverpool player on the night. I mean, Mane probably should have stayed on. He looked like he was going to do the damage in the opening 20, but only completed 11 out of his 17 passes. I mean, that was something that the Liverpool forward trident were guilty of all game as well. Wasteful passes. How many times did Mo Salah give it away in build-up and not play in, you know, the correct manner, effectively? Pass accuracy of Liverpool in the second half was actually 70%, normally stands at 85%. I've picked that stat out because I think it maybe highlights the fact that the atmosphere rattled them a little bit in terms of their composure, in terms of their game management. The Everton fans were absolutely incredible. And this kind of harks back to the sentiments that Raheem Sterling made, where he said he felt more pressure pursuing the title as a Liverpool player than he did a Manchester City player, despite the standards probably being, you know, not probably, significantly higher at Manchester City. But let's see what Jurgen Klopp had to say on matters, because the ball boy rattled him. Yeah. I think he might have blamed the wind again. And what else did he have to say?
He wasn't happy, was he?
You think it's again PlayStation, bring an extra attacker and football change. That's not like that. We are offensive enough. Football doesn't work like that. We don't lose our nerves. Not like you, obviously. That's like, because it's just, you have this, it's the second time that you ask a question I really don't get.
Klopp there, obviously absolutely seething, and probably rightly so, you know. His front three, who he's relied upon so heavily this season, just misfiring at the moment. In particular, Mo Salah, who is the coolest man in the world usually in front of goal, but just wasn't at it on the day, and he hasn't been at it for a little while now. He's on 17 goals this season, but he's got just 1 in his last 6.
Yeah.
Not really good enough for a player of his standards, who should be coming in and chipping in regularly with goals. And you know,
they need him, don't they? They need him at this vital point.
They need him big time, and a player they needed even more than him, Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
Man, Virgil van Dijk, player of the season. You know, I've talked about Heung-min Son being potential player of the season, but for consistency, Virgil van Dijk is just unmatched. Incredible performer. He was playing in about second gear last night, the best player on the pitch. Just, I think he probably is the best centre-back in the world right now.
Form-wise, and I love, I put a tweet out yesterday actually, I love how he's just so composed, isn't it? And he marks the space as opposed to the man, which is why sometimes people accuse him of looking a little bit lax. You know, he looks very calm in sort of one-on-one situations. Gives the attacking player the space to come at him, because he's actually blocking off crossing channels, passing channels. He's so smart.
Yeah, he is smart. And when a player takes a heavy touch, you can just see him marauding across the pitch. And you think there's only one winner from this challenge. And the amount of times Pickford punted the ball long, the man with one of the worst distribution in the Premier League. Pickford's kicking is howling. He kicks it so much too far. I mean, Virgil van Dijk won 10 headers yesterday. Imagine 9 of them came from Pickford goal kicks, because they were lumping it up towards, who was it? Was it Sigurdsson up there trying to win headers up against Virgil van Dijk in the number 10 role? Just not really good enough. He also made 3 interceptions, Virgil van Dijk. Probably my man of the match on the day. Just played it with consummate ease. Also though, on the flip side, Everton centre-backs, I want to highlight Michael Keane, had a really good game challenging Virgil van Dijk for that man of the match slot. 8 tackles and interceptions, on the day, and not the best passer of the ball, but just constantly in the way, in the right position at the right time. Made one crucial tackle on Mo Salah when he was going through one-on-one with Jordan Pickford. Now, I guess this result, where does it leave us in terms of league standings? Obviously City 1 point ahead, but I believe they've got a tougher run in. Maybe that's because I'm a Man United fan and they've still got to come to Old Trafford.
Yeah, you hold a lot of hope, a lot of aspirations for United beating City, don't you?
I just don't think. I think if you're Man City, the worst place you can go in the league with 3 games to go is Old Trafford. Because it's going to be fever pitch with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's going to be Manchester United fans clamouring to stop City winning the league. It's just a horrible place to go, I think, in the form that Man United are in. We haven't been great at home, but it's just that derby atmosphere, a bit like Everton-Liverpool yesterday. Like, Everton aren't even close to being at Liverpool's level, but that atmosphere, it being a derby, just brings something extra out of the game. I just think City just won't want to go to Old Trafford with 3 games to go. But Liverpool might be feeling a little bit unfortunate to have 69 points from 28 games and sitting in second, because the last 7 sides to have that many points have all gone on to win the Premier League title. And you know, they've been top for 102 days and they're still second. It's just, you must be so mad if you're Jurgen Klopp.
There's another era-defining side.
Like, it's no surprise he's totally rattled. Like, he's absolutely spitting. And, oh God, Liverpool fans must be fuming. But arguably, nobody to blame but themselves. You know, they've chucked some simple points down the drain and the substitutions weren't good enough, the front 3 weren't good enough. Everton were there for the beating yesterday, and that is another 2 points drop, because Man United were there for the beating the week before as well. That's my thoughts anyway. But what are yours? Do you think Jurgen Klopp is rattled? Has he lost his head? What do you make of the Liverpool title run-in versus Man City? Let us know all your thoughts on the title race in the comments below.
Our first winner this week then comes from Sivot the God, and it is Manchester City, just to rub salt in the proverbial wounds of any Liverpool fans watching. What happened in the game against Bournemouth?
Well, they pumped them, but only managed to win 1-0 in this one. But it was enough, wasn't it, to take them 1 point clear of Liverpool. And it was without the key man, Fernandinho, whose injury troubles continue to plague Manchester City. Rumours that he could be out until April now, which will be crucial in the run-in, and it won't be helped because KDB obviously came off with a hamstring injury and John Stones came off injured too. So Manchester City in the midst of a little injury crisis, but nevertheless, they thumped Bournemouth in this one. 82% possession, generating 23 shots, 7 on target, to Bournemouth's 0. And I don't mean 0 on target, I mean 0 shots in the 90 minutes. The first team since, I believe, Optus started collecting statistics that have failed to even have 1 shot from 50 yards.
Consider some of the sides that have been in the Premier League as well during that era. Billy Davies' Derby, Steve Keane's Blackburn.
It really is crazy. Like, not even a shot from 40 yards, like a speculative effort. Do you know what I mean? It's just not really good enough. I believe it's also the lowest percentage possession they've ever had in the Premier League. So not a great day for Eddie Howe's side, but a good day for Riyad Mahrez because he has been much maligned by Manchester City fans this season.
A little bit unfairly, I'd say.
Maybe, but I feel like that's your Leicester head saying that. He is a bit of a one-trick pony.
I haven't got a Leicester head anymore. Traitors.
You know, he is a bit of a one-trick pony. Oh, he's coming on that left again. He's coming on that left again. And it does get a little bit predictable when you're at a really top side.
I mean, Ian Robin made a career out of it, didn't he?
He did, but he is also one of the best wingers in the world. I'm not sure Mahrez is. So equally, it was nice to see Mahrez pick up a goal, and it was with his right foot as well, not cutting back on that left-hand side. The assist also came from David Silva, taking his tally to 80 in the Premier League era. So congratulations to David Silva. An easy afternoon for Manchester City, but Bournemouth, poor.
I believe 80 is now level with David Beckham as well. And I think David Beckham actually is a creator, one of the most underrated players in Premier League history.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he definitely should have won the Ballon d'Or in '99, but
he's only just level Becks. Wow, well done, David. Both Davids. All around good days for Davids. Anyway, the result leaves Bournemouth 12th without a win in 5 games since that 4-0 victory over Chelsea, and they've conceded 12 and only scored 2 in the process.
Ooh.
Now, we'll let them off slightly because they've had a very unlucky run when it comes to injuries. So missing important players like Wilson, Stanislas, who's impactful off the bench, isn't he? Solanke, Cook, that's Steve and Lewis, and Simon Francis have all been injured in this period, as well as Jefferson Lerma's suspension, and he's been kind of holding the midfield together on the defensive end this season. So he's had a few moving parts, has Eddie Howe. So they've gone 12 points, off 6th. to 9 points off the relegation zone during this bad run. So pretty big swing, but I think they'll be fine. They're on 34 points.
Yeah.
Don't envisage them being dragged into that relegation dogfight. A few players to return as well, like we said. City, on the other hand, I mean, there's no point repeating ourselves. They've gone first for the first time since December the 4th. Next, for both teams, Bournemouth take on Huddersfield away, and City are hosting Watford, a very informed Watford actually.
Yeah,
that
Rudy
might be
Garcia.
A tricky tie.
Tough
Louis
game.
Garcia, we're going to talk about him in a minute because, you know, hit Brendan Rodgers, didn't he?
You know,
in his opening game, ruined him.
Manager of the year, arguably.
So, yeah, could be.
Moving on to our first loser of the weekend. It's a little bit harsh. It was suggested by G Bullasu on Twitter, and he says Arsenal.
Yeah, selected by our very own Olivia, who is an Arsenal fan, so maybe she was feeling cynical on Sunday, but Unai Emery's men have dropped out of the top 4 this weekend after failing to capitalise on their good start and good performance against Tottenham at Wembley, ultimately drawing 1-1. A dramatic North London derby as well. Aubameyang missing that penalty in the dying embers of the game. And Tottenham now have the edge over their rivals in terms of securing Champions League football, let's say. That would have been a big 3 points.
Yeah, they would have been just 1 point above Arsenal.
In the course of Arsenal season, yeah. And initially, Unai Emery's team selection raised a few eyebrows, but he got it spot on, didn't he?
Massive credit to Unai Emery for that one.
Huge. Aubameyang, Torreira and Ozil all starting on the sidelines, and the outgoing Ramsey was given the nod yet again in a big game like it was against Chelsea in the number 10 position. And he relishes this stage, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Particularly the North London derby. I mean, this will make it even harder to part ways with the Welshman. So he's been involved in 3 of Arsenal's last 4 Premier League goals against Tottenham. Big game player. Lacazette, who has been a consistent source of goals this season, goal contributions. I mean, assisting in this game, but missing an absolute humdinger of a chance.
The front two for Arsenal in this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's now registered a goal involvement in 4 consecutive Premier League games, but did miss some gilt-edged chances. Like we say, he's now been involved in 36 goals in the Premier League for Arsenal since his debut in August 2017. That is more than any other player in the Arsenal ranks. So still productive, but worrying that the Gunners are the only team now in the Premier League still not to earn an away clean sheet. That away mentality that everyone sort of single-handedly pinned on Wenger's tactics, you know, it's endemic through the whole Arsenal side. They just can't see a result out, can they, away from home? They now sit 1 point behind Ollie's Manchester United in 5th, and I believe they may have made our winners.
Yes,
So
they have.
let's
That's a
avoid
massive
talking
game
about
next
them.
weekend, isn't it? It's a
Huge.
massive game next weekend. But let's just quickly touch upon Tottenham Hotspur because they finally drew. They're on a 28-game run in the Premier League without drawing a match.
Never to be better at that.
Yeah, hopefully, because, you know, like, it's always good to see a draw, isn't it? Not really, I don't really care. But either way, Tottenham brought Harry Kane back yet again. Obviously started the week before against Burnley, got a goal there. Feels to me like they've rushed him back. I don't...
Shock.
Like, it feels every season we're saying this, that Harry Kane is being forced into the side because of a lack of depth. When he gets to about 28, his knees are going to be gone. Like, the poor bloke is being forced into the side. And I can see why a few Tottenham fans are saying we shouldn't be doing it. Heung-min Son was in the form of his life. Since Kane's come back, you've seen a big drop-off in Heung-min Son. So there are arguments to be made. You didn't need to rush him back, Pochettino, but he did nevertheless. And he continues his excellent form in the North London derby. He has scored 9 in 9 in that game, so pretty impressive. In fact, he's got 9 of Tottenham's last 12 goals against the Gunners, so he is absolutely vital to the side. It was a big point for Tottenham. You've already spoken about it briefly, but if they'd have lost this one, they'd have gone, I believe, from 9 points clear of 4th back down to 1 point clear of 4th, which is just not good enough if you're Pochettino. Liv did go to Wembley though for the match, didn't she? So here's a few of the Vox Pops she caught after the game with the fans.
What did you make of the game today?
I thought the penalty the ref gave at the end there was absolutely ludicrous, but look, who knows? But apart from that, it was a decent game. Would have been better for Spurs to get 3 points.
Thought we was going to lose, to be honest, when they got the penalty in the 89th minute. So really, it feels like a win for us. I think.
We're looking a bit tired, a little bit worn out, but if we can come through it, we should be all right.
The way, to be fair, the referee was really, really bad today. So
I've never seen such an inept performance from a referee in all my life. Now we've had some bad ones in here in the last 2 years. This kiddo, I'm sure it's Mike Dean in disguise. I swear to God it is.
And getting that penalty, Hugo saving the penalty.
Again, the second game on the trot, yeah.
Yeah, a bit mixed. There's a point's a point, but yeah, we're not playing well at the moment. We're just wasting chances. And
you're winless in 3. So what's happened to the title challenge you were all talking about a couple of weeks ago?
I am. No. It's Jamie Carragher's fault.
Jamie Carragher's fault?
That's why he loves Liverpool.
No. Kane's upset the balance.
And that was never a penalty for them today.
Challenge. What's the title?
the fact that 5 years ago we would have never even considered us for the title race. We've come on, we progressed, so I can't really complain.
The title wasn't really in our grasp. Liverpool, Man City. I hope to God Man City win it.
Why?
I really don't. Oh, you're never at the end of it. Man City, I can stomach. Liverpool, or affectionately as we call them,
the Reds.
No. Goodbye. Get a point.
Yeah, I think most Spurs fans didn't think that was ever on. I think Liverpool and City are a lot better than we are.
Do you think we should be taking Tottenham more seriously in the title challenge?
Yes. For sure we should be.
But the Champions League spots, you're confident you'll stay in the top 4?
Yeah, I think so. I think we will get top 4.
Go back to 4. I mean, Arsenal have got to play City next. We've got Southampton, so it could go back to 7 next week.
Of course we are.
Yeah.
Why would we not? Of course I'm confident.
I remain confident in terms of positive attitude. But yeah, hopefully that happens. Yeah.
No, we're happy with the way we're going.
We've kept that gap between ourselves and Arsenal now.
Worries there.
And what about keeping hold of your manager? How can you make sure Poch stays?
I don't think we need to. He's going to stay. He's not going to go anywhere. He's not going to go to United. He's not going to go.
Why not? You're not giving him any money.
Well, Mr. Logan's going to have to put some money in his pocket, isn't he? Or get some out.
I think the whole Poch hype's a lot of The Poch hype's a lot of nonsense. I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
He loves Spurs.
He loves Spurs.
Of course he does.
We're not worried about that. Only United fans seem to think that's the thing.
Really? Even if you don't give him any money to spend?
Yeah, I think that'll be okay. I think he's built like a good squad here, and we're moving to a new stadium next year. But you know, he's an attractive manager right now.
Very attractive manager.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going to United, is he?
Why would he go to United?
Where would he go?
Yeah, he's amazing, isn't he? He's amazing, isn't he?
Where's Poch
Solskjaer.
going? Where's Poch going?
He's not going to
Oh, maybe somewhere with a bit more money to spend.
Yeah, but basically, Poch is coming to work.
United are rubbish, to put it nice. Sorry, Graham. Well, but why would you want to go to United where you don't have control of the team? He's got control of the team. It's his team. He can do what he wants.
We've got the best stadium in London. We've got an exceptionally gifted side. So I think that's reason enough.
You've got faith that he'll stay.
Absolutely faith, yeah.
No better club than Tottenham, is there?
Don't know about that.
Our next suggestion comes from one of our main contributors on Reddit. It's Room Cobra, and if you want to go check out our Reddit page, click the link below. You know, if Adam Templeman puts it in, probably not. It's Manchester United, Joe. You're a United fan. How's life?
Yes, it's pretty bloody rosy at the moment, isn't it? Because the resurgence under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer continues, now just 2 points off third place. Did you think you'd be hearing that when he first took over? Because I fucking didn't. But equally, this was a tight affair. You know, a 90th minute winner to win 3-2 at Old Trafford against what was a brilliant Southampton on the day. They got it pretty much tactically spot on, Ralph Hasenhüttl. I know you're going to talk about them, aren't you? But it also featured some brilliant goals. Jan Valery, screamer. Question marks as to whether the hair should do a little bit better being at his front post, but it's just hit like a thunderbolt, isn't it? An absolute Bing Crosby. It's unbelievable, absolute pelter. Then Andreas Pereira, beautiful guided finish into the top corner to get us back into the game.
Lord of the Pings.
Then James Ward-Prowse goes and scores a worldie. It just is so good. Like, it must have been such a fun game to watch. The myth from VYB was there. He was absolutely loving it. And I'm just excited. I'm so happy that United are back to winning ways. You know, we've got to go to PSG midweek, but equally, it's just great to watch Man United again. It's fun because, you know, this side has had serious injury problems. We've now got Alexis Sanchez with a knee injury as well.
Oh, physically spent, isn't it?
Physically spent, but, you know, Scott McTominay coming in there. Nice not to see Marouane Fellaini being deployed in the central midfield.
3 games in a row now for McTominay?
Scott McTominay, 3 starts. He's not been terrible in there. He's not been amazing, not ripping up the world, but equally...
Good rotation.
Getting games, getting minutes. Andreas Pereira starting in midfield. Not his best role. I think he was better when he went to a number 10 slot when Alexis came off injured. And I actually think Alexis' injury is probably beneficial for Manchester United as a side. I think he's actually holds up a lot of our counter-attacking play, not great on the ball. And Big Rom was back scoring goals. You know, ever since I said he wasn't good enough for this Manchester United team, he's come back. I stand by my statements, though, that these games are where Rom's brilliant. When he's playing against a deep block and he focuses on finishing, he's excellent. Where he struggles is in build-up against a decent side, because you could see even on Saturday, his first touch isn't great, his movement off the ball isn't great, his passing ability is extremely questionable. So for me, still not quite good enough against elite sides in build-up, but when he's bullying the minnows, he is a handful and almost impossible to stop.
How is a top-level coach not able to instill those basics into Romelu Lukaku?
I don't think,
because then he would be so well run.
Yeah.
Then he'd be the ultimate, well, complete forward.
Yeah, he's not technically good enough.
No?
No.
All right.
But equally, a great finisher against the smaller teams.
I mean, your performance was good enough, wasn't it? Let's move on to some more stats on the game and touch upon Southampton very briefly, because I mean, there was banger after banger in this game, but United probably should have won this a little bit more comfortably than the scoreline suggests. So they had an expected goals of 2.54 compared to Southampton's 0.58. Unsurprising, given the nature of their finishes. Rashford failing to hit the target.
Mate, Rashford had some big chances.
3 shots. Pogba having his penalty saved at the very end as well. So Manchester United probably feel like they should have put more on the board, but credit to Southampton, who are showing a new lease of life under Hasenhüttl, showing a bit more battle, aren't they, and a bit more tactical now. So only had 36% possession of the ball and had to be clinical with only 3 shots on target, but you know, asked questions of Manchester United. They didn't just lie down, did they?
No, and
take it.
And they should have had 2 penalties. Arguably 2 penalties in this game, 2 challenges on Ryan Bertrand that could have gone either way. A different day, a different ref.
Yeah.
They're both penalties, so Man United slightly fortunate.
And you lot say that Joe's biased. Look, fessing up to the penalties. Lukaku managed more shots on his own than Southampton, with 4 coming on target. So productive evening, like Joe said. United only had 6 in total, so he was a constant threat. He was pretty pivotal to this victory. He also completed the most dribbles in this game as well. And I will not forget, you know, quickly, the sight of Ryan Bertrand trying to kung fu kick him and bouncing clean off his chest into the next postcode. He's now scored more goals against Southampton, Big Ron, than any other side with 9. Man of the match, though, was given to Pereira, goal and an assist for the Brazilian, first to do that since Anderson against Blackpool. Bit of trivia there for you. Shout out to Diego Dalot as well, who's filling in on the right wing for Manchester United. Who knew your long-term right wing option was effectively your second choice right back? Southampton's key performer, Romeo, always a consistent presence in that side, hasn't he? Had the most touches and won a highly impressive 9 tackles and interceptions, which was a game high. Saints just 2 points above relegation. United have a huge week ahead. But that's not it. We're not finished there with our winners section. We actually have an extra section for you guys at home. And Renault, who is sponsoring this episode, have found the ultimate football fan. And he went on a Super Sunday experience. So their winner, Jimmy, was driven to the game and met Jeff Stelling and his heroes, Sean Gotar and Niall Quinn. To witness the full journey, check out the description box below. But here's a little segment, and it's heartwarming. Take it in. Maybe you could be Renault's fan of the season next year. Menez is ours.
No way. They had a diet in the 70s, eh?
Were these two not athletes?
Yeah. Hey, we had a diet as well, you know.
What did your diet consist of then, Sean?
Your drink.
Our final loser of the day was written by Chris Hamill. It's almost as if he's bitter. It's Leicester, and it was sent in by John McPhee.
Reportedly, you know. I mean, yeah, my name is there, so it's pretty much a giveaway. Yeah, I actually picked Brendan Rodgers to be our last loser this week, as his reign got off to a bit of a rocky start, didn't it? A cruel finish, a cruel way to end proceedings on that 90, wasn't it, Brendan? As his Leicester side lost 2-1 in dramatic fashion at Vicarage Road, consigning the Foxes even to 11th, propelling Watford to 8th in their march for Europa League football. Continues under Louis Gracia, doesn't it? This was despite outshooting the Hornets, 14 shots to 6, which ostensibly looks decent, but you know, peel back the veil, and the Foxes only registered 2 on target. Watford put 5 on target from 6 attempts, and 10 of Leicester's efforts came from outside the box. Harvey Barnes and Tielemans racking up most of those efforts. And I've got to say, Tielemans throughout this, hugely impressive. And he is going to be, all jokes aside, a big beneficiary of Rodgers, the way Rodgers develops talent. I assume Harvey Barnes is going to be in that category as well. He was one of the standout players.
If they managed to
keep him, 90, super comfortable. Yeah, if they managed to keep him, super comfortable playing it between the lines, and had a very good all-round game. But they got off to an awful start, did Leicester. Troy Deeney stealing in on 5 minutes to head in Gerard Deulofeu's free kick from out wide. He was probably offside, very, very marginally. You can see why he's been given the benefit of the doubt. And that was Deulofeu's 11th goal involvement in 19 starts.
Yeah, he's on great form, isn't he, after that hat-trick last weekend?
Yeah, he was hauled after about 16. He was absolutely spitting, was the young Spaniard. But alas, Leicester have now conceded the most Premier League goals in the opening 15 minutes of a Premier League game out of the 20 sides in the league. And they've also now lost any points, let's say. They've become victims to 3 90th minute winners. So concentration at the start and end of the game proving fatal for them in various scenarios. But they found a way back into it very briefly. Jamie Vardy scoring his 10th goal in 21 starts. Yeah, sort of outside of the right boot. He's now scored the first goal under 4 new Leicester managers, which kind of is indicative of the merry-go-round that's happening at Leicester at current. I mean, they actually think, they think that a top 6 finish is like the prerequisite
Yeah, it's crazy. I think they're a little bit deluded to think that. I'm not sure what's going on. Let's touch upon Watford, though, because they are absolutely flying. And, you know, the forwards are flying as well. Troy Deeney obviously getting an assist and a goal in this one, taking his goal involvements for the season to 8 goals and 4 assists for Watford. 9 of those goal involvements have come in his last 11 games. Javi Gracia has got his boys absolutely flying at the moment, hasn't he? He's lost just 2 of his last 13 in all competitions. Probably the reason that he's the only manager in the entire Pozzo era to ever sign a contract extension. You know, they've signed him down to a new 4.5-year deal.
Punchy that as well,
haven't
4.5-year deal.
Yeah, but rightly so, you know. I said it at the start, he is arguably manager of the season. He's right up there, seriously, in terms of what he's done with that Watford side. I don't think anybody saw them even coming close to a Europa League spot, and that's what they're doing right now.
Kind of akin to when Hodgson won it, I guess. You know, was it 2 or 3 years ago when he was it when he saved Palace? Just sometimes it goes to a middling Premier League manager overperforms. So yeah, every chance of winning it.
Every chance of Gracia taking it home. And their saving grace this season really has been their defence, because they have been so solid at the back. Despite that 5 goals that they conceded at Liverpool, you know, it does happen. That forward three can just rip sides apart. They're conceding less shots per 90 than Arsenal with 12.4. On the flip side, you know, they probably could still improve offensively, only taking 11 shots per 90. Just 3.8 of those coming on target. That's the 6th worst in the entire Premier League, and they're currently signed 8th. So there are things that Gracia can improve, but I'm sure him and the Pozzos and the Watford fans must be absolutely delighted, because they're 9th even on expected goals.
Yeah, nice to have your flaws be that obvious and still be playing well. So they'll be looking to add goals, no doubt, in the summer. Yeah. And they've just got a really solid base to build on.
Really solid base. And I'm sure Watford fans must be delighted. If you are a Watford fan watching, let us know what you think about Gracia in the comments below and what he's done to turn it around. Thanks very much for watching. That's not the end of the show, is it?
No.
You said the end of the show then.
I mean, it's almost the end of the show. We can go straight into the end board, can't we? I mean, what else is there to watch on Football Daily?
Euro Roundup today, isn't there?
At 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, which features teams such as...
Oh, throw me under the bus there. I can't remember the script, but exciting teams nonetheless. What a feast of football we had this weekend. So I think I said that in the intro. So, you know, symmetry. We've gone full circle. One of the worst outros ever.
Sorry, such a bad outro.
Bye.
It's my fault.